G'day, I'm Kate Grark, how are you? Today I'm taking you on a one-day adventure out towards the Ettrema Wilderness area. We're just going a little day hike out to the cliff edge to look down into the beautiful, amazing Ettrema Gorge. A while back I did a bit of work with New South Wales Bush Search and Rescue on a couple of hikers that were missing around the Ettrema Gorge area. And we ended up finding them in this. They'd done the right thing. They'd sort of realised they were in trouble and they'd set up camp in this awesome camping cave that they'd managed to sort of stumble across. And I've always had in my head that that'd be a cool little hike to have in my pocket when you suddenly get, oh, I've got a weekend free, boom, let's go. Hopefully you can hear that off in the distance. That's a spotted pardalote. So while the bushfires have cleared out the thick heath, it's actually made going quite hard because of all the fallen trees. So yeah, it's one thing I didn't sort of think of. A lot of these areas. Wowzers! I took a pretty good tumble back there. I don't know. I think I switched off the footage as I was tumbling somehow. But yeah, it was pretty interesting because I really was expecting, because of the fire, that had sort of cleared out all the hakea and all the tea tree and just that stuff that makes the going so hard. But I guess there was some larger trees through there and they've all dropped their limbs and it made it pretty tough going. So what I've done is I've reassessed my route and I've found some little white patches. I'll add a photo, and that sort of indicates that the vegetation's quite sparse and you get these rocky sort of plateau areas, which makes the walking so much easier. So we'll try and stick to this plateau as much as we can, because that was some pretty grubby hiking back there. I really want to be able to get somewhere that I can look down into Ettrema Gorge, because I want to be able to see, would it be nice just camping up here on the Ettrema tops, or is really the nicer places down in the gorge. Certainly pretty dirty work coming through here. I'm trying to avoid the ash as much as I can, but just check out my pants. This area is pretty toasted. It's a bit sad to see. There certainly is a fair bit of epicormic growth, but geez, it's going to take a while for this environment to come back to what it was, that's for sure. You know, like everyone talks about the Australian bush being adapted to fire, and to some extent, absolutely that's true. You know, you can see the new seed bank starting to regenerate and things like that. But I think these fires, it was just the sheer area that they covered was just unprecedented. Just the destruction of so many hectares. And you know, normally we have fires, they're much more patchy, and they just sort of you know, we'll take out a certain, say like a southern section of the Budawangs, and that'll be a big fire, you know, and it's those patchy burns that are actually quite healthy for the environment. But it's when that huge, just ridiculous amount of area gets burnt all at once, it makes it really hard for things like, I don't know, yellow-bellied gliders, greater gliders, some of our threatened species to survive, because you know, they're just getting wiped out of area after area, and they just can't bounce back like they, you know, should be able to, because their habitat's starting to get fragmented, massive fires have swept through, and you know, you really worry for these amazing creatures. Like the greater glider, in my opinion, is cooler than a koala. They're also called fluffy gliders, which I think is a really accurate term. These big puffy fluffy ears, and they're just incredible. It's just so naked. Oof. Gosh, it's pretty crazy. It just is almost unrecognizable. Wowzers, check out this termite mound. It's a whopper. It's huge. Holy cow. It's pretty much as tall as me. That's pretty cool. Ooh. A really cool thing in the bush, if you look at termite mounds, you can often see evidence of things like echidnas and stuff, and so it'll be sort of like a little half moon shape on the edge of the mound where they've sort of dug in. Another thing, some species of goanna will put their eggs in there, and so there's sort of like a circle hole you could see if a goanna's put its eggs in there, and that's a really smart way of doing it because the termite mound keeps a perfect temperature for their little eggs. So mum just comes in, lays her eggs, closes up the hole, or the termites close up the hole, then she just lets them do their thing, and she comes back when they hatch. Hopefully, if I've got this right, we're about to sneak around the corner and to the cave where they were holed up for, I think they were there about 3 days. Getting there slowly. So one really important thing I learnt from that trip was, obviously I always leave track notes with my next of kin or safety person, but please do leave really detailed track notes, and that's okay if you want a bit of exploration in there. Keep all that in there. So like today there was a few little experimental things I was doing, but I provided significant detail. Stop at this fire trail, park here, hike 3 kilometers in. Woo, okay, now we've got some views here, hang on, check this out. So off in the background there, views into Ettrema. Wow, you couldn't even see in there actually. Last time I was here, this was so vegetated. You could see that there was something there, but wow, that's pretty special. All right, let's find this cave, hey? I think pretty sure it's just in this cliff line behind me, but scratching my head a little bit. Let's see how we go. So yeah, I've made it to the area where they were. The cave's not as spectacular as I thought it had been. I'll put some photos up. But geez, the view is so different. Before, this foliage was so thick, you couldn't even see out to Ettrema Gorge, and it's just spectacular out there. It's a pretty nice area. Not sure if I would return for an overnight hike. While it's beautiful, I think there might be better places up on the cliff line, so pretty happy that I came out here today. So this is the cave that they're in, but it's sort of had a nice flat floor. It's a big overhang here to keep the weather off them. We'd had some pretty shocking weather the days that we were out camping and looking. Another reason this might not be the best camp spot anymore. There's a big wombat burrow there. And, you know, I just don't like to disturb them or / have a wombat coming crashing through your campsite. I'll show you, I've seen some nice foot tracks there of the wombat. It's quite a cute little paw print. It just looks like a little human handprint. Righto, I reckon this could be my turnaround point for the day. That was some pretty hard going through all those fallen logs and twigs and sticks. With the fires, it has cleared a bit of the vegetation and makes those rock cliffs even more spectacular. It was good to get out and do a recce, suss out a few areas. Whoop! Just try not to fall off this cliff. But yeah, look at these. Woo! This rock cliff behind me is pretty amazing. thanks so much for watching. I really enjoyed coming out today, even if it was just a little day hike. I can't wait to get into the area and do an overnight up on the cliffs looking down into Ettrema. Probably get down into Ettrema Gorge proper during spring when it's a bit warmer, because there's a lot of creek crossings and things like that. It can be a bit miserable in winter. But yeah, thanks so much for watching.